All right, we are on the record. This is Charnay Sherry versus Froedtert South. It is case number 2018-023. This is the first day of hearing. Today's date is March 16th, 2021. I just want to pause before I go further and make sure everyone does see that this is recording. Everyone sees that red circle indicating that we are recording. Okay, wonderful.
Yes.
All right, so it's my understanding that the complainant's first witness today is going to be Bessa Aliji, and that's spelled Bessa-Aliji, correct? Okay, and you're on mute, Miss Aliji.
No.
There we go. There we go. All right. So I guess without further ado, we can get started. So Mr. Olson, your first witness.
Okay. Good morning, Ms. Aliji.
Oh, I'm sorry, and I just wanted you to officially call her, and then I'll swear her in.
Okay.
So the complainant calls.
Plaintiff calls Bessa Aliji.
Okay. And Ms. Aliji, can I please have you just raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay. And is there any way you can get a little closer to your microphone? I don't know if I'm the only one who's having a little bit of difficulty hearing you.
Yeah, I'm having difficulty hearing you just a little bit as well.
Just me or everyone?
Just you were okay before when your microphone was a little bit
Okay.
higher.
I'll keep it up.
Okay, can you hear me better now? I'm sorry, I had
Much.
I had a little foot surgery, so I have it elevated and the camera.
Okay, I'm sorry, but we can hear you perfectly now.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so Mr. Olson.
All right, Ms. Aliji, we appreciate you coming in today, by the way. I know you're off, and you mentioned you had foot surgery, so we'll make this as painless as possible. I'd like to start by asking you a little bit of your background. Where do you work?
I work at Froedert South.
And how long have you worked at Froedert South?
21 years.
31 years, you said?
21.
21 years. And what is your current job?
My current job is office coordinator.
And at what department are you working currently as the office coordinator?
Prairie Ridge Clinic.
Could you repeat that?
I'm having difficulty.
Prairie Ridge Clinic.
Prairie Ridge?
Prairie Ridge.
Prairie Ridge, thank you.
And how long have you been in that particular role?
Almost 3 years, maybe a little bit longer.
And to whom do you report in that job?
I report to 3 different directors.
And in what department did you work prior to being the office coordinator at Prairie Ridge?
In cardiothoracic clinic.
And during what time period were you at the cardiothoracic clinic?
I think it was 2015 to 2018.
And when in 2018 did you leave that position?
I don't remember exactly when. I know it was either, it was in the springtime.
Okay. And who was your direct boss while at the cardiothoracic clinic?
My director at that time was an interim director, and it was Michelle Plemons.
Can you spell Plemons?
Plemons. And she was covering for my director who was out at the time.
And you were the office coordinator at that location at that time?
No, I was the site specialist at that time.
Okay. And what was entailed in that position generally?
I kind of coordinated like the office, just just the front desk, and kind of assisted with some things um, between the doctors, the staff, um, scheduling, answering phone calls, checking in patients, um, doing prior authorizations, um, type of clerical stuff, as well as some administrative stuff in the office.
And then when you transferred, was that lateral or a little bit lower, a little bit higher than the
At the
position?
time when I transferred, it was lateral.
Okay. And you said you had interaction with the physicians. Did you have interactions with Dr. Zavidazan?
Yes, I have.
And why did you transfer?
Um, at the time, I was just unhappy with Dr. Sividasan. I just didn't agree with her morally, and just the way she handled things and handled staff.
And you said morally, what were you referring to in that regard?
Um, I don't remember like a lot of instances. I mean, well, in particular, she just yelled at a lot of people, um, and put blame on a lot of people unnecessarily. I don't remember specifics, but she did a lot of blaming and a lot of yelling.
Did you have any problem with her care of patients?
Um, I can't speak to it directly because I'm not clinical. Um, I think just the way she spoke about patients, and her, like when she would be walking down up and down the hallways, she would say some not nice things about patients. So I kind of that's why morally I didn't agree with her.
Can you think of any examples that you took offense to regarding the way she spoke about patients?
There was one specific instance where a patient was waiting a long time, and he was a very sick patient. And I told her the patient was waiting for a long time. And she was really loud, word to the point where I believe the patient may have heard her, and said, the patient can just wait until I'm done with what I'm doing. And I just felt bad for the patient.
Was there a particular event or that caused you to transfer because of Dr. Sividasan?
Um, she indirectly affected me, but just the way morally, just the way she spoke to patients, the way she spoke to the staff, um, and just everything. I don't remember exactly. It's been a while, but I wasn't happy working for her.
Did you receive complaints from any other employees about Dr. Sividasan?
Um, Let me think. The the complaints, I think it was more just people talking about her, the way she treated patients, the way she treated staff in the OR, the way she treated staff in on the floors, the nursing staff, the way she spoke to just staff in general throughout the hospital. Um, I would hear things, but specifics, I don't remember. I really don't.
Did you see a escalation of her poor behavior over time?
Objection to the word escalation. That's very vague and ambiguous.
I can rephrase it. Did you
Okay, rephrase.
see did you see the severity or the pervasiveness of her treatment increase over time?
Objection, again, we're talking about a time frame that neither I nor I think the witness can understand.
Well, do you want to just limit the time period then, Mr. Olson?
Sure. During the time that the two of you worked together.
Which is what time period, Mr. Olson?
She already said it was 2015 through 2018. That's correct, Ms. Alifi? Okay. Okay, can you pull a little closer? We're having some difficulty hearing you again.
Sorry, yes.
Okay, so why don't you just ask the question one more time, Mr. Olson, so she's clear
Sure.
on which.
During the time that you and Dr. Sivadas worked together, did you notice the pervasiveness or the intensity or the frequency of her poor treatment increase?
Objection, again, vague and ambiguous. We're talking about a 2-year time frame. If you can limit that, that would help, I think, the witness to answer the question.
Well, I didn't think the time period was vague. If anything, I would ask you to just use one of those phrases, Mr. Olson, and then I think it's a fair question.
Okay. Did you see her behavior get worse over time when the two of you worked together?
Yes, but she was always like that. She was always abrasive but yes. Getting to
And
know her, yes.
how did it get worse over time?
I think just me getting to know her and working with her, I started noticing.
So when it got worse over time, was it the intensity or the frequency or something else that got worse?
Um, the intense, both.
And did you complain to anyone in management about Dr. Sivadas?
Not until closer to the end before I left.
To whom did you complain about Dr. Sivadas?
At the time, it was my directors.
And who were they at the time?
At the time, I complained to Brandy Ford, and then as she left, then it was Michelle Clemens.
And how many times did you complain to the directors about Dr. Sivadas?
Oh, I don't remember how many times.
Was it more than once?
Yes.
Can you estimate?
No.
Do you know why you had to complain more than once about Dr. Sivadas?
I don't remember specifics.
When you complained the first time, what, if anything, did the directors do to address your complaint?
Objection, vague and ambiguous when you're referring to directors. I don't know what that means. I don't know if the witness understands even what that means.
Go ahead, Mr. Olson.
Yeah, I'll use the people you identified. You said Randy Ford and Michelle Clemens. So when you complained the first time, do you know what anyone in the administration did to address your complaint about Dr. Sivadas?
I don't remember. No, not the first time. I don't remember.
Do you remember anything that management did at any time to address your complaint about Dr. Sivadas?
Yes, towards our departure time, that's when it was brought to the attention of HR.
And who in HR, if you know?
Nick Galick.
And did you talk to Nick Galich about your complaints concerning Dr. Sivaдаsan?
It was more directors did. I think I did at the end, right before our departure from the department.
How many times did you complain to the directors about Dr. Sivaдаsan before they brought it to the attention of HR?
I don't remember.
Was it more than once?
It was more than once. Yes.
And your complaints that you brought to the directors, was it what you've described for us this morning concerning the way she talked about or talked to employees and patients? When you complained, did you ask management to take any action on your behalf?
No.
Did you have an expectation that management would do something in response to your complaints about Dr. Sivaдаsan?
Yes,
What was your expectation?
that we would meet with her and talk to her.
And do you know if anyone in administration did that?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Did you experience any retaliation from Dr. Sivaдаsan in response to your complaints?
Objection, that's a legal term, and I think that we need to explain what that means when you ask that question.
Okay, you can either rephrase or explain.
Did Dr. Sivaдаsan treat you poorly from what you understood was in response to you complaining about her?
I don't.
I'm going to object again because poorly can mean a lot of things, but if she can answer, I'll allow I mean, you judge, you're going to be the one to allow the question, but
Do you
treated
understand?
poorly.
Do you understand the question, or do you need any further explanation?
Understand the question. No, she didn't treat me poorly.
I didn't hear that, but let me ask it this way. Did Dr. Sivaдаsan ever react to you complaining about her?
Not to me directly. I don't know. No.
And do you know how many times management talked to Dr. Sivaдаsan in response to your complaints about her?
No.
And I saw you shake your head no, but I'm not picking up the audio.
I don't know.
Yeah. For whatever
Yeah.
reason, Elvis in the audio is getting a little bit choppy again.
I don't know how many times they spoke with her.
Okay.
And then you said toward the end of your working in that department, you talked to Mr. Galich, and what did you discuss with him?
I just don't remember.
Could you repeat that, please?
I don't remember.
Was any action taken in response to your discussion with Mr. Galich?
Yes.
What was that?
We ended up having a meeting right before our departure. And they asked me if I was comfortable working there still. And I said no. And then I was removed from that department.
Were you comfortable working there up until that point when you had the conversation with Mr. Galich?
Up till that point, I don't remember. I wasn't comfortable working there at the end. And that's why I spoke with Nick.
And prior to your transfer, how long of a period of time did you desire to transfer out of that department?
Oh, can you repeat that?
Sure, you ultimately had the transfer in 2018, and I think you said it was in the spring. Leading up to that actual transfer, during what period of time did you desire to transfer out of the department?
Just finished at that meeting when I was asked, am I comfortable working there? And at that point is when I decided that I wasn't.
Okay, and we're having a little bit of difficulty on the audio again. So could you just repeat that answer? I'm sorry.
Okay. Can you repeat your question again?
Sure. I believe you said that you transferred in the spring of 2018. Leading up to the actual transfer, during what period of time did you want to transfer out of the department?
I hadn't thought about it that I remember.
And what was it that caused you at that particular time when you spoke to Mr. Galich that you finally decided you wanted to transfer?
I wasn't comfortable working there because of Dr. Sivadatsan.
Did you ever discuss Dr. Sivadasan's treatment of people with Charney Sherry?
Yes.
And how often did the two of you interact in your respective jobs?
Daily during the weekdays.
Did Ms. Sherry complain to you about the way that Dr. Sivadasan behaved in the workplace?
Yes.
What was her biggest complaint, if you recall?
Dr. Sivadatsan just blamed, a lot of blame, unnecessary blame on the staff and on Charney.
And I know you said you're not clinical, but did she bring to your attention any concerns that she had about treatment of patients medically?
Yeah.
Do you recall what she complained about in that regard?
I don't remember specifics.
Did you ever have concerns about Dr. Sivadasan's mental stability?
Um,
I'm going to object. You know what? Mental is a very vague term. I don't know if this witness is even competent to be able to answer that. What does mental stability mean?
Ms. Aligi, do you understand the question? You're comfortable answering that?
I mean, I'm not clinical to diagnose a mental
Right,
disability.
right. Why don't you rephrase the question, Mr. Olson?
Sure. Did she act in your presence in a emotionally unstable fashion where she would lash out or yell or scream at people?
Yes.
Okay. Did you ever conclude that she had some sort of a mental health problem that caused her to behave in the way that she did?
Again, I'm going to object on the fact that we're not talking to someone who is certified to make that kind of diagnosis.
I'm not asking for a diagnosis.
Well, I agree. I sustain the objection. So try to ask in a different way, please.
Sure. Did Dr. Sivadasan act in ways that were erratic or inconsistent?
Objection, again, I don't know what erratic and inconsistent means, in what terms, what, realm are we talking about? Is it on a personal level? I mean, we're talking about personality conflicts here, but we're going into the medical issues, which I don't think this witness is qualified to testify about.
Well, she's
Okay.
shaking her head yes in the affirmative, and we're talking about the interactions in the workplace, so it's not.
Well, why don't you
Personal.
describe what that means, Ms. Alici, when you say she acted erratically? What in your mind does that mean?
In my mind,
Or when you say
not,
that because you
not
agreed, yes,
normal,
she acted erratically. How explain that?
not normal, not as a normal person would react.
Okay, can you go a little further with that? Explain that to me.
She would, I don't know, she yelled a lot. She swore a lot. I guess
Okay.
I've never encountered anybody like her. That's what I would think that would mean. There was no one like her.
When I use the term dropping the F-bomb, do you know what that means?
Yes,
Okay. Did you hear her drop the F-bomb at work?
yes,
How often did you hear her do that?
daily. When I did see her, or when I did hear her,
And would she do that under her breath or in a loud way?
loud way, both and under her breath.
Did she ever leave her daughter in the office?
Objection, relevancy.
Why don't we establish some foundation here?
Okay. Did she act irresponsibly in your view in the way that she left her daughter in the office?
Objection, no foundation. We don't know what date you're talking about. We have no idea what this question is relevant to.
We're going to need a little foundation about this.
Okay. Did Dr. Sivadasan leave her daughter in the office unattended for an extended period of time?
Objection, no idea about what time period we're talking about and why this is even relevant to the case.
Okay. And I mean, it hasn't been established that she has a daughter or what age the daughter is either. So I think we need some more information here.
All right. Are you aware that Dr. Sivadasan has a daughter?
I'm sorry, we're not getting audio again.
I'm aware.
Okay. And as of 2018, do you know approximately how old her daughter was?
No, I don't remember.
She under 10?
Under 10, yes.
Okay.
But exactly, no, I don't know.
All right. And did you observe that Dr. Sivadasan brought her daughter into the workplace?
I'm going to object again, Judge. I know I don't want to belabor this, but the thing is, I'm not sure why we're even going into this area of questioning. I don't think it's relevant, and I'm objecting on relevancy.
Okay, your objection's noted. I'm going to allow it and give it the weight it's due. I'm still trying to figure things out. So, all right.
Okay. Yep.
Did Dr. Sivadasan bring her daughter into the workplace?
If you know, you can answer. If you don't know, I'm going to object to speculation. So it's.
Well, she's answering. You just can't see her. We're having a hard time with the audio.
Oh, I see. Okay.
In the office.
Okay, can you repeat that? I'm sorry, we didn't catch most of that.
I don't remember in the office.
You do not remember if the Dr. Sivadas brought her daughter into the office?
That's correct.
Okay,
Did she
thank you.
Okay, by office, you mean the entire facility. You're not aware of her bringing her into the facility. Is that right?
And I don't remember.
Okay. Did you ever provide complaints to management about Dr. Sivadasan in writing?
In writing, I don't believe so.
Did you ever?
I don't know.
Okay. Do you know who Susan Ventura is?
Yes,
Did you ever forward to her any text messages or other information that you received from Dr. Sivadasan to Ms. Ventura?
I may have, I don't remember.
Did you discuss your concerns about Dr. Sivadasan with Ms. Ventura?
Yes, towards the end, before my departure.
And were those the same complaints that you've discussed with us this morning in your testimony?
Yes.
Judge, did you get that response?
I did.
Okay.
Is there a physical microphone or is it just the computer that you?
Yeah, because I didn't even hear that response actually. So if you wouldn't mind repeating that.
Repeat. Can you hear me?
We can hear you now, Mr. Olson. I think she wanted you to repeat the question just so her answer can get on the record.
Okay. The complaints to Ms. Ventura, were those of the nature that you described in your testimony this morning about the way that Dr. Sivadasan acted in the workplace?
Can you repeat that?
Still didn't get the audio.
Yes.
Okay, there we go. What did you do differently?
Nothing.
Oh, okay, because now we can hear her perfectly. Okay.
All right. Did you conclude that Dr. Sivadasan lied to you?
About what?
About anything?
Obviously, the objection is going to be, could you narrow that down a little bit and give the witness a chance to understand the question?
Would you like some? Yeah. Why don't you rephrase, Mr. Olson?
Sure. During the time that the two of you worked together, did you conclude that she lied to you in making representations about what was going on at work?
Again, I'm going to object. I don't understand. Did she lie to you? That is a whole plethora of.
Can you answer the question, Ms. Aligi? Do you understand? Do you understand Mr. Olson's question?
I understand the question, but it depends. It's specifics. I don't remember a lot of specifics, but overall, I do believe she's lied about things, but I don't remember specifically.
You said you thought she was lying to you, but you don't remember specific lies?
Correct.
Okay. Did you conclude that she was a dishonest person in the way that she interacted with you?
Yes.
Your Honor, I can do a screen share on exhibits unless you prefer that you put those up.
If you can do it, then by all
Okay.
means. Just as long as we can all see it and it gets into the record.
Okay. And
I'm not
Ms.
able to see it, unfortunately.
I'll identify it. It's Complainant's Exhibit 18. It's a May 9, 2018 text.
Can everyone see the exhibit?
Yep.
Yes, okay. So I guess it's one of our screens now, Ms. Krakowski, so I guess I'm having trouble understanding why it's not showing up on your end.
And I am as well.
Okay.
So
Well, anyways, what's the Bates number? Because we have the
Yes.
exhibits, correct? Okay. So why don't you just give her the Bates number? It is what is it? Complainant's Exhibit 18, correct, Mr. Olson? What was
Yes.
previously identified?
Right. So
And go ahead.
the ERD number in the upper right corner is 0241.
Okay, so 241. And I need to pull up my exhibit list is this something that's been introduced before, Mr. Olson?
It has not.
Okay. So then just bear with me for a moment. And you said it's 241, C18. Okay. And how would you like me to identify this for our exhibit list, Mr. Olson?
I'm fine with sticking with our exhibit.
5918 text. Okay. Are you there, Ms. Krakowski?
yes, I am.
Okay.
All right, and Ms. Aligi, is this a text message between you and Ms. Sherry on May 9, 2018?
It says to me.
Okay, can you repeat that? We just got the end of it.
It looks like it because it's addressed to me.
Okay, and from reading this text, can you tell whether you are in the shaded text or the non-shaded text?
I don't know, not yet.
Okay,
Do you need Mr. Olson to scroll through this so you can read it?
Yeah, I don't know which one was me, so yeah.
Okay. Can you go through that, slowly, Mr. Olson, so she
So-
can?
the shaded text refers to a long case and some medical terms. I'll scroll through this.
Hold on, stop a second.
Sure.
Can you go up a little further?
Yes.
Okay, go down further.
Okay.
Okay, slow down. Can you go up a little further? Okay, go down further. Scroll down. So I was the shaded area.
Okay.
I'm trying, I'm not saying, I'm asking, was I the shaded area?
My question is, are you the shaded area or the non-shaded area?
I don't know. I don't know. Keep going.
I think this one it has two BESA. So does that help you figure it out?
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
thinking the way it's me because I'm the one who would have printed the calendar. Meeting with Nick and Brandy. I don't remember. I don't remember this.
Okay, there's reference here. It says, I guess I never realized she was claiming that I was lazy and leaving early, especially since I am always at work. It wasn't even on my radar. Was that something you would have said or something that Ms. Sherry would have said?
Objection calls for speculation.
Well, I think that if she reads through this, she can figure out who, this is from. There's some indications. So if you just let her read through this, I don't think it's
Sure.
speculation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you scroll down a little bit further, please? Yeah, I think I'm the white. I'm definitely the white.
Okay. So based on that, if we start at the top, this is a May 9, 2018 series of text messages between you and Ms. Sherry. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't remember much of this, but yes.
All right. So maybe some of this will refresh your recollection.
I read all of this already.
So in your message to her, you say, and the more staff we add, the more people for her to blame. What were you referring to there?
Dr. Sivadathan blamed any issues that she had on staff, not her. I mean, she never takes a blame for herself. I mean, she blamed everybody for all her problems and all her issues. She blamed staff. She yelled at staff.
Okay, in this, you say that Brandy scheduled a meeting with Nick and me for tomorrow.
I don't even remember that.
But she canceled it because she has to take her son to the doctor. I assume that means. Was that a meeting that was to be scheduled to talk about Dr. Sivadathan's treatment?
I don't remember. I would assume.
You were talking about Dr. Sivadathan in that same message, but you don't know whether that meeting was about Dr. Sivadathan?
Yeah, it was. I would assume it was.
Okay. And then you state here in the same exhibit, I was thinking last night that I'm going to run a report and print all the times you documented since Bridget left and put it in a folder so we can hold on to all the proof that along with the calendar you made. I'm taking it all with me to meeting with Nick and Brandy.
I don't remember.
Copies, of course. What were you referring to there?
I don't remember.
Did Ms. Sherry provide you with information that you took to Nick and Brandy?
I don't remember.
Do you think you would have said you were going to do that and then not done it? Or do you just not have it?
Objection, it calls for speculation.
Why don't you move on to something she recalls?
And then in response to Ms. Sherry's comment, you said, I know 100% she says that about me. Was Dr.
Yeah,
Sivadathan calling you lazy?
yes,
And how do you know she was doing that?
I would assume.
You say here, she actually texted me herself and told me I leave early a lot, and that if I want to be a part of this program, I can't do that. I can't imagine that she's going to say about Melissa. I feel horrible for her. and Christine, whatever MA we get, why did you question it sounds like you were disagreeing with Dr. Sivadasan claiming that you leave early a lot. Am I reading that correctly?
Yes, you are. She had high expectations.
Okay. Was that an accurate statement that you left early a lot?
No.
Objection. I'm trying to find the relevancy to this line of questioning, and I'm objecting to relevancy in terms of what this has to do with the complainant in this case.
Mr. Olson, do you want to respond?
Well, the witness already answered the question, but the relevance is the mental instability, the lying, the mistreatment of the employees and the patients that led to this witness transferring out of the department and my client suffering intolerable working conditions that resulted in her ultimately her termination.
And my response to the objection response is that we're not putting Dr. Savadasan on trial here. What we're doing is we're looking at a retaliation complaint, and we're going into offshoots of to totally irrelevant information here. It has nothing to do with what happened with Charnay Sherry, and we are not focusing on what is important in this case. This does not have anything to do with the case at hand.
If
I'm going to
they're-
allow okay, go ahead, Mr. Olson.
Yeah, I was going to say, if they're conceding that Dr. Sivadasan created intolerable working conditions and that the complaints by the employees were reasonable, then I don't need to get into it, but it sounds like they object to that.
Well, I don't think that the complaints about Dr. Savadasan relate to this particular complaint, and you're going into a lot of area that does not relate to our complaint in this case.
Okay, I'm going to allow the questioning for now. Let's try to move this along, though. Okay.
Okay, and you
Give it
say
the way it's due.
I feel horrible for Melissa and Christine and whatever MA we get. Why did you feel horrible for them?
The way Dr. Sivadasan treated her staff.
Okay. And you say her day will come. Were you talking about Dr. Sivadasan?
So
Okay, we need you to pull a little closer again. I'm sorry.
I would assume so, yes.
All right. And this is Exhibit 19, which is a May 11, 2018 text.
Okay.
Okay, and let me just get this. This is not an exhibit that we've marked before, is it, Mr. Olson?
It is not.
Okay.
It is
Can you just give me-
it continues in the sequence. It's at ERD 0245.
Okay, thank you.
And this is dated May 11, 2018.
You said May 11th. Okay,
Correct.
thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
And
Okay.
so here you're talking about scheduling a meeting. Does this refresh your recollection as to what the meeting was?
Let Mr. Olson know if he needs to scroll up or down.
Keep going.
That's it for that one. let me identify this. Brandy is referring to Brandy Ford,
Yeah.
and Brandy Ford is in HR.
No, she was my director.
Okay, and the meeting, was that for you and Ms. Sherry to meet with Ms. Ford?
Yes.
And was that meeting ever held?
Yes.
And during that meeting, did you and Ms. Sherry complain about Dr. Sivaдаsan's treatment of you?
Yeah.
And was that meeting documented in some way?
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
I don't know if it was documented.
And the information that you gave to Ms. Ford in that meeting, is that consistent with what you've described in your testimony this morning about Dr. Sivadasan?
Objection, vague and ambiguous. I don't even understand the question.
Can you repeat the question?
Was the information that you and Ms. Sherry gave to Ms. Ford when you had the meeting consistent with what you testified to this morning about Dr. Sivadasan's mistreatment of people?
I'm going to object as vague and ambiguous. If you can answer, go ahead, but I
Remember
Okay,
exactly.
I'm sorry. Can
I
you,
don't
so you can,
don't remember specifics of this meeting.
You don't remember specifics, but you remember, I think you testified that you did complain in the meeting about Dr. Sivadasan, correct?
Yes.
And would your information that you gave to Ms. Ford in the meeting have been consistent with the mistreatment by Dr. Sivadasan that you've described in your testimony this morning?
if you can answer the question.
no, Ms. Krakowski is answering. We're having problems with audio, okay? And please let me,
Sorry. Sure.
okay,
I
go
don't,
ahead.
I don't remember specifics enough to answer the question.
But my question was a little different. I asked whether what you related to Ms. Ford was consistent with what you said this morning, or would it have been different? In other words, you went to, let me lay foundation. We've already established that you and Ms. Sherry went to Ms. Ford and you complained about Dr. Sivadasan. So based on that, would your complaints about Dr. Sivadasan have been what you've described this morning in your testimony, or would those complaints have been different?
Yes, they would have been the same.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to Complainants Exhibit 20, which is a May 14, 2018 text. And this is at base number ERD 0248.
You said it was 14, correct? 5/14/18?
Correct.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
And here you're talking about, I'm rescheduling right now for next week. Is this rescheduling the meeting with Ford?
And again, let Mr. Olson know if he needs to scroll up or down for you.
Yes. Keep scrolling.
That's the end of this exhibit.
It was yes.
And if you gave a response to my question, I didn't hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. This is Exhibit 21. It's a May 16, 2018 text, starting at ERD 0249. And you say here, I met up with Brandy today. She's coming to our meeting on Monday. I'll tell you more tomorrow. Do you remember what you said to Ms. Ford when you
No,
spoke to
no,
her?
I don't
Okay.
remember.
All right.